Beautiful, beautiful game of football. The World Cup, as I always say, is living up to expectations. Before we delve into this match, before we try and discuss what actually happened, there's a bias going on that I do not understand. You look at the tackle that Olise made on Rodri. Let us be fair. If France weren't favored in this game, then I do not know what to say. In fact, there were two calls. The first one with Michael Olise, he's supposed to get a red card. Look at the angle of this tackle. Look at the picture clearly. This warrants a straight red card. There was no VAR intervention. There was nothing. There was no form of assistance. The play just went ahead. Like nothing happened. Now we go into the realms of the second half and realize that Mbappe was so frustrated that he swung his arms towards the goalkeeper. That's supposed to be deemed a violent conduct. If you should look at the laws of FIFA, that in itself is a violent conduct. You do not need to be cautioned. No. You need to be sent off. These are two incidences. Anyways, brilliant game from Spain. Massive congratulations to Spain. And if I am to select the players, the outstanding players so far, they all be, we can pick Yamal, we can pick Rodri, we can pick Dani Olmo, and we can pick Pedro Porro. There is a reason why I chose these four players. Oyarzabal is good, and he was excellent by scoring the penalty kick. First half, you realize that all momentum was going towards Spain. Spain dominated. And the most impressive aspect is this. They took France by surprise. France didn't expect this level of energy. Barcola was brought in instead of Doué because of his pace. Deschamps actually anticipated De La Fuente to play a high line game, which they didn't. They didn't play high line, so that gave them some sort of balance, and the positional awareness of their defensive midfielder also played a key role in dominating the game. It was not because of their passing, because their relentless passing is it's innate. It's something that is normal, something that is natural, that comes from Spain. Spain is noted for passing. That's how come La Liga, usually the ball is on the ground. Right. Let's scoot from that. They were actually able to neutralize the most impressive part is, as I said, the most impressive part is this. When they lose the ball, it takes them few seconds or minutes to be able to retrieve the ball. They don't just get up and run into spaces, but they time the spaces. That's why I said positional awareness. The DM positions himself in advantageous places where it locks France from trying to play the ball behind their midfielders, right? Good. So when that happens, they just tend to play the ball back. So when they play the ball back, that's when Yamal, Oyarzabal, and the rest, the front three press. So when the front three press, now the DM is not going to just move. He's just going to move a little forward. Then they just pick certain spaces. Now the keeper will not have any choice than to play the ball inside and give Spain the ball again. Then they build up from there. So that is how the game was. That's how the game was played, spread out through 90 minutes. They didn't allow France to breathe. And when they got the ball, they dictated the pace. They will pass to frustrate France. When France players get agitated, then they hit them on the attack. Okay, so now there are two incidences that changed the game. It changed the entire game. The brilliance of Yamal. Why do I say that? Alright, you realize that Luca Dini was about to kick the ball. Part of his mistake was this. He was supposed to defensively, he was supposed to be aware of his surrounding, right? You try and look left, right, just for a millisecond to see who is around you, right? He didn't do that. Good. Now, Yamal had two options. Either he is just going to anticipate where the ball may go, or he is going to what? Run into the ball and try and get a clear chance for Dini to hit him. That's kick, right? Good. And that's the chance he took. That is intelligence. And that penalty changed the momentum of the game. It heavily favored Spain because France were kind of frustrated. They wanted to reply immediately. They didn't want to go in halftime without any reply. And that cost them the game. Now, the second tactical genius. You see, they are all coming from Barcelona players, whether you like it or not. Yamal calls a penalty. They were able to convert it. Now, Dani Olmo. Oh, Jesus. Dani Olmo. See, Barcelona, Barcelona is equivalent to Spain, whether you like it or not. Barcelona is Spain. Barca. Visca Barca. Barcelona. I say, when I see that team, namanane. Alright, let's go on. You pick the circulating picture depicts the whole analysis that I'm making, right? Dani Olmo gets the ball. So it was a 1-2 that was played from Pedro Porro to Dani Olmo, right? So he gave the ball to Dani Olmo, right? Now there were about 5 players surrounding Dani Olmo, and he was fouled in the process of passing back to Pedro Porro, right? Good. So immediately he made that pass. That pass wasn't expected because in that tight angle, the obvious pass would be either you turn and give it back to a midfielder, or you shoot. So when I say tactical genius of Barcelona players, this is what I mean. Tactical genius of Barcelona players. Listen to it again. Tactical genius of Barcelona players. Barcelona players. Hey, you need ball. We know how to play the ball. We dey play ball. Hey, see, Barcelona fans, we don't banter well. Barcelona fans don't banter well. Barcelona fans are like Messi. We are humility. It catch we all. Hey, then Dani Olmo, in his glory, in his right mind, with Hansi Flick's tactical information that he gives to his players, gave the ball. He just slightly touched the ball to Pedro Porro, and the rest was history. So after Spain got the 2-goal lead, game over. And I actually now understand why De La Fuente has been putting Unai Simons in the goalpost instead of Joan Garcia. There's a reason why. The latter part of the game I understood, because Unai Simons, he is able to control the defense, the Spanish defenders. He's able to control them. He's able to communicate with them very well. Coca-Cola had a chance at the beginning, the first 10 minutes. The communication between the defenders and Unai Simons. Now, Mbappe had a similar chance where the keeper had to come in and do something before he goes back. That chance could have changed the narrative of the game. So I realized that Unai Simons in the Spanish team, he doesn't only exert authority, but he is able to communicate better with his defenders. And let's speak about Spanish defenders. They've only conceded 1 goal in the entire campaign. And that 1 goal they conceded was with Belgium. Only 1 goal. When Barcelona fans are bragging about Kubasi pocketing Mbappe, people do not understand. How many times have they met? Clasico, yes. He got the best out of one or 2 games. And he has scored quite a number of goals. I think 6 or 7 in total. He has scored against Barcelona. But out of those 6 or 7 goals that he has scored against Barcelona, how did they end? When we are talking about Maldini's in this game, Kubasi he is that defender. He is that defender that I'm talking about. Because that, as young as he is, 19 years or 20 years or so. So this is what Hansi Flick's supposed to do. Paul Kubasi is a great defender. Let's not run away from that premise. Are you with me? Alright, so that premise has been set. Good. If Paul Kubasi is a great defender, why doesn't he excel that much when he's at Barcelona? Do you know the reason why? He is young. He needs experience just beside him. One of the thrilling and exciting moments of the Barcelona seasons were the first 2 seasons of Hansi Flick. Defensively, I mean, they were that good. We didn't reach Champions League final. It was because of the opponent that we were facing, and 2, the kind of mistakes that we made, because we're young. It's a young team, whether you like it or not. They were inexperienced. The club is experienced, but the players were inexperienced. And they're playing against a very good defensive side, Inter Milan. Realize that Martinez made Paul Kubasi so good by coaching him. So right now, what Barcelona needs is what? A leader in the defensive line. I don't know why I switched to Barcelona, but that's all we need. Paul Kubasi is a player that needs coaching. He needs coaching in that defensive line. Because if you should leave him alone, he has a lot of flaws. He has a lot of inexperience. He's going to make silly tackles, especially 1v1. But if you should coach him, he will be defensively aware all the time. And hardly will he make a mistake. And it's evident. We all see it now. How great of a defender he is. And there's one thing that I like about De La Fuente. This is a coach that he's not afraid to make certain changes. Regardless of whoever you are, he's not afraid to make certain changes. Look, if we were to be another coach, the first thing you do is to play your strongest team, because you are playing against France. Now let's look at the Spanish team. Which players did he take, especially in the midfield? He dropped Pedri, and that was a big call. Most of the pundits were feeling like it was a wrong call. I mean, pre-match analysis. When I was watching these sports show, I realized that most of them were not in agreement with his decisions to bench Pedri. And this is the second consecutive game Pedri has been benched. It tells a lot. Because in this game, you are going against the likes of Michael Olise, against the likes of Rabiot, Kone. So you need physical presence. So he took Dani Olmo, he took Fabian Ruiz, and he took Rodri. These were bosses that also can match the physicality of that of France. So you see the difference. The difference between a bold coach who is aware of what he is doing and a coach who is always going to be on the safer side. I'm not saying that being on the safer side is not the best, because a coach, regardless of the decisions you make, you are going to account for it. There are consequences to every decision you make as a coach. But sometimes you need to make the bold decision based on the opposition that you are facing. And De La Fuente is the man for the job. From under 21 squad now to the national team, he's just a serial winner when it comes to national team coaching. Now let's look at what France did. What did France do wrong? Well, if you ask me, in my opinion, France throughout this World Cup campaign has been very scary. But there was one thing that we forgot. France never really were tested. France never really were back to this kind of position. So we have never seen them come out of a position where they have not been able to create chances. Out of a position where they are rather the chasers instead of the chasee. They have never been in this position before. I mean, they have faced physical opponents, but they have not faced physical midfielders before. They have not faced a team where their central attack comes from the midfield. They have not faced a team where they build from the back. They can build from the back, they can build from the middle, and they can attack you from the flanks. They have not faced a team where their fullbacks, they are just balanced. They have a balanced fullbacks in Cucurella and Porro, where they can just move in and come back. They have not faced a team which has a lot of squad depth. They have not faced a defensive midfielder like Rodri. France were not just a failure in this competition, but they are also delusional. They are a failure because they have so much talent, they have a less tactical coach. Because in this game, the coach needed Kante, the coach needed Kone. These are the players that are supposed to start. The 2 previous games that France has had, Olise has been quiet. So that means that something is supposed to be done to boost his confidence, and it's the same thing that happened in the Champions League campaign. So it's just fair to say that Michael Olise is still not up to that 200 million that we are all talking about, because he chickened out in the Champions League the same way he has chickened out in the World Cup. So coming from Crystal Palace, yes, he is good, but he is not that good. You cannot rely on him when it comes to tough oppositions. The same thing can be said about Mbappe. Mbappe was nowhere to be found. Hardly did he get a shot on target. Hardly. I don't even want to talk about Dembele. Dembele just misfired. He was just like Kylian Mbappe. They were just misfiring. So players like that, when they are frustrated and they do not have a good system, they will fail. They will fail. Believe me, they will fail, and they did. They failed. The only person I can praise is Barcola, because Barcola used his pace, but his pace was no match for Pedro Porro. That's another thing. So Deschamps was just relying on the individual brilliance of Mbappe, of that of Dembele, of Olise, and Barcola, because he just needed pace. That is what he thought. So just put the speed sets in. Put the speed sets in, they'll do something. And he failed. There was no plan B. There was no backup. How can you have N'Golo Kante, one of the most physical defensive midfielders we've ever witnessed, on the bench? Immediately Olise made that tackle and he was having a quiet game. He's supposed to be taken out. He wasn't. He was in the game throughout till the second half. I don't know what he was waiting for. I don't know. All these things do not help. It didn't help France at all. Koundé was not having a great partnership in this game at all. He didn't help Dembele in any way. I don't know whether it was because of Dembele's positioning or it was because of Spain's defensive line. France were tactically in shambles. They were chasing the ball out of position. When they were off the ball, they were just like me, 11 players like me, running around. The more they became frustrated, the more they were making silly tackles. So we can clearly say that a team like France, when you withhold the ball from them for a very long time, they begin making mistakes, just silly mistakes, and they did it throughout the game. Let's see how it goes. So now France are going to play for the third position, bronze. They are waiting for the loser of Argentina versus England to join them to play third and fourth position. It will also be a great game. At least they would have something to redeem. And now Kylian Mbappe has had a good tournament, but it's not as great as we envisaged, and he might lose the goal king position if Messi should score or assist Yes, if Messi should score or assist, Messi will go on top of that list again. He will go on top of that chart, the goal scorer, top goal scorer chart. We are all rooting for Messi. At this point, Argentina has had a very good campaign, whether you like it or not. Argentina has had a very good campaign, and looking at this match, Argentina versus England, it's going to be a cracker. It's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be Messi against the young guns. Yes, I know that the poster boy for England is Jude Bellingham, so we'll see how that one goes.